Good afternoon, everyone. This is Mitchell back here on my YouTube channel. It's good to see you guys again on this Saturday. This will be uploaded this Monday, December 13th. But Jerry Palm, excuse me for the shaking on the camera a little bit. I was just itching my hand a little bit. But Jerry Palm yesterday and Friday updated his bracket from ESPN. I'm using the ESPN since I really couldn't find the CBS pool for this week. So we will start with that. We'll start in the San Antonio South region because Baylor will be the number one overall seed on this projection, so they'll play Texas Southern, which I believe will beat Norfolk State this early. Norfolk State will get beat this one. Texas Southern did beat Florida as an 0-7 team the other day, so I think I gotta take Texas Southern, but then their early win will end against Baylor for how loaded Baylor is. Florida against Colorado State. Florida is very hard to predict. I gotta take Colorado State because they're a tad better with them a little bit after that. Wisconsin will beat Belmont, and they're playing good as in recent memory. Illinois blew a 20-point lead to them the other day, so I gotta take the Badgers to win this first round matchup. Arkansas and Weber State. I'll take Arkansas as they're looking for a second Sweet 16 Elite 8 appearance in a row here. BYU and Louisville, I gotta take. I know Chris Mack squats in the tournament as of now, but I gotta take BYU with their perimeter. I think they're a lot better than Louisville at the moment. Houston and Oakland, I will take Houston to beat the current Horizon League leader Oakland. Xavier and Oklahoma, I'll take Oklahoma. Oklahoma hasn't won a tournament game in a while, and I think they can beat Xavier. I think they'll have enough as a 10th seed to do it in a very good 7 versus 10 matchup. And then Arizona, who lost to Buffalo. I believe that was the last time they were even in the tournament. So the first time since 2018 they are in the NCAA tournament. They've had some NCAA sanctions a little bit in 2019, I believe, but now they're back in it. They'll be a 2 seed against Texas State, and they will not lose to Texas State. And it's not going to be the repeat of the Buffalo loss in 2018. I had them going to the Final Four that year, and they lost to that. They lost to them. But it's not going to happen this time. Arizona will move on to the second round. And I also had them moving on to the Sweet 16. As much as I would love to see BYU pull out a Sweet 16, they always have potential mostly to make a run in the tournament, but they never really do lately. Houston has too much to miss the Sweet 16 this season. So we'll go with them there. Next, I think Baylor's due to get upset as the reigning national champion, so Colorado State will advance to the Sweet 16. I will pick that as a very slight upset there. And then Wisconsin will lose to Arkansas as Arkansas will make its second Sweet 16 appearance in a row. And I will take Colorado State Cinderella run to come to an end, a slight Cinderella run. So I'll take Arkansas to make their second Elite 8 in a row after pulling off Oral Roberts in a very, very historic and great ending there in that game. And then for the spot in the Final Four, it'll be Arkansas, Houston. I think Arkansas is a tad better so far. That would be a very heck of a game because that could have been a Final Four matchup last year if Arkansas beat number 1 Baylor in their pool. So Arkansas will advance to the Final Four this year. Congratulations to Arkansas. Yeah. Next, we have the Midwest region, which the regional finals and semis will be in Chicago, Illinois. Purdue and Campbell, I can't take Purdue. I gotta take Purdue over them. St. Bonaventure, Providence. I think Providence has a lot better conference play than St. Bonaventure, so I got to take Providence here. Next we have Texas against Wake Forest and Memphis. I will take Texas here, and Wake Forest is slightly in the tournament for the time being. Excuse me. Tennessee and Ohio. I will take Tennessee here. UConn and Florida State. I will take UConn, and Florida State's barely in the tournament for the start of the year. Alabama against Navy. I can't really take Navy this early on in the year, so I gotta take Alabama from their experience last year that they're gonna get back. Illinois and Virginia Tech. I'll take Illinois here. Kansas and Vermont. I will take Kansas, and then Kansas will also advance to the Sweet 16 as they'll be Illinois, who blew a 20-point lead to the Badgers, as I mentioned earlier on in the video. And then UConn, they had success in the 2014 NCAA tournament. They won the whole national championship that year and surpassed Napier's here. And I think they will beat Alabama, and they will pull out a slight upset after missing numerous tournaments lately. Purdue will not lose to Providence. I will take Purdue to continue their Big Ten run and advance to the Sweet 16. Even though they lost to Rutgers the other night, they'll still advance to the Sweet 16. It's just one game. It's early on in the year. And then I'll take Texas as a slight upset over Tennessee. I think they're a tad better than Tennessee for the start, so I got to take them over the 4 seed Tennessee. And then for a spot in the Elite Eight, I will take Purdue over Texas by far. And then UConn Cinderella run will end against Kansas. I watched Kansas in the Champions Classic for how legit they are. Excuse my camera area there, but for how legit Kansas was in the Champions Classic, I can't go against them here in this matchup. So I gotta take Kansas. And then the regional champion, which I don't have marked down, but number 2 Kansas will beat Purdue, and Purdue was close with Carson Edwards to make the Final Four in 2019. I think they'll fall short in the single or double overtime again against Big 12 Kansas, and Kansas will advance to the Final Four there. Next, we got the West San Francisco region. We'll take Gonzaga over Towson, the 16th seed. I'm not very impressed with Marquette, even though they beat Illinois. Illinois is no longer in the top 10, and Marquette doesn't have enough wins. But besides them, they're actually a number 11 seed in Quincy Bell's sports pool. So, in his projection, excuse me. So, Marquette's really fallen apart lately. I gotta take Iowa, even though they're my second favorite team. I gotta go with Big Ten and Iowa there. UAB and LSU, Alabama, Birmingham does have a slight chance of an upset, but I can't see it happening to LSU for how fun of a team they are to watch from last year. I think they'll be back more this year. Iowa State will beat UC Irvine. Seton Hall will beat West Virginia, and West Virginia is barely in so far as of right now. I can't take Kentucky. I can't take South Dakota State over Kentucky as much as I would love to. It's not going to happen here. Kentucky will move on to the second round, continue their success in the tournament. As much as I would pick St. Mary's, I got to go with the heart of Michigan for at least one game. They beat Nebraska very handily last week and this past week, and this weekend they beat San Diego State in a very big win, a matchup of 2 historic teams for Steve Fisher coaching there after Michigan. So anyway, that was a good matchup to watch before our Big Ten championship victory in college football. But anyway, we'll move on. We take Michigan in the first round to at least pull out one game. I'll go with the heart there. And then UCLA will beat Liberty, and that will put a rematch of Michigan-UCLA in a very scoring Elite 8 game last year. It'll be a very low scoring again in this matchup, and UCLA will move on to the Sweet 16. They have a little bit more, and they're very legit from watching one of their first games against Gonzaga. I watched at least the first half of that game. It was very good. And they're going to have enough to beat very young Michigan this year because Michigan's very young. Besides Hunter Dickinson, they got to move on here. Got to take them move on. And then Kentucky, UCLA will be a very historic matchup from the blast in the past, but UCLA will move on to Elite 8 with slight more talent this year than Kentucky here. Next, Gonzaga. I have another 9th seed upsetting another national championship contender from last year. I have another 9th seed pulling it out. So Iowa will move on to the Sweet 16 there. Because a little bit more. Gonzaga lost Jalen Suggs. I think it's time to pick another one. This is for fun. Got some fun with it early. Never too early for that. And then LSU will beat Iowa State. Iowa State's doing well so far. They're one of the best teams in the nation. But LSU is a little bit better. I think they could make the Sweet 16. And they didn't lose to Michigan by a lot. They stayed in that game last year. They would definitely been the Sweet 16 Elite 8, so they will break that hump and they'll be in the Sweet 16 this year. And then it brings the matchup of Iowa and LSU up, but I can't take a 9th seed quite yet to make the Elite 8, so I gotta take some of the 9th seeds besides Florida State in 2018 have not made the Elite 8, so it's really been since 2018, I believe, since the 9th seed has made the Elite 8, so it's not going to happen this year. I got to take a little higher ranked LSU to advance there as a very big upset against UCLA. But sorry, LSU, your Cinderella run will come to an end, and UCLA will be your regional champions for the West. For the East region, we have the Duke Blue Devils, which are 4th in the nation currently, and the regionals is in Philadelphia, and they will beat Princeton or Nicholls State. Texas Tech against Indiana, excuse me. I can't really go against Texas Tech in this game, so head coach Chris Barrett is gone this year. He's actually at Texas, but they're going to win. They're definitely going to beat Indiana in my mind so far this season. I have Auburn losing to Chattanooga. Last year they could have lost the tournament, but the first round of the tournament, but they still didn't. And I gotta take Chattanooga to pull out an upset there. There wasn't Liberty, but I can't remember. Comment down below, please, if you remember who was about to upset Auburn, because I think they're gonna get upset this year, and this will be the year if they play Chattanooga here. And they're kind of due for that. Their school is. Michigan State, Iona, as much as Rick Pitino is very much succeeding this year at Iona so far, I can't go against Tom Izzo and the Spartans, so I got to take number 4 seed so far, Michigan State. So far is the word. They'll get better throughout the year, but they'll win that first game. Ohio State will beat San Francisco, obviously. USC will beat Grand Canyon. Loyola Chicago will beat North Carolina, and Roy Williams' first year in retirement. I don't think they're gonna really make it that far in the tournament. If they do, maybe second round, but I got Loyola pulling out a slight upset there. Next, I had the Wildcats of Villanova beating Wagner, and then that will put Loyola out of the Sweet 16, even though Loyola beat Illinois to advance to the Sweet 16 in the state tournament last year. Not gonna happen to Villanova, and Villanova's going to be very legit, so they're going to make the Sweet 16. And Ohio State, as much as I would like to see Big Ten representatives in the Sweet 16, they're not going to have enough against USC, and USC will advance to the Sweet 16. Villanova will advance to Elite 8 next. That brings a matchup of the rematch in 2019, Michigan State and Duke. Michigan State's not really as consistent as recent memory, so I got to take Duke and Coach K's last season. But Villanova, I think will pull out an overtime upset. That's going to be a very classic Elite 8 matchup. If this were to happen, it would be very much a dream matchup for college basketball fans. I think they have a slight bit more than Duke, and they will advance to their first Final Four since 2018. So the Final Four this year is in a very interesting city, New Orleans, and our first semifinal is Arkansas and Kansas. Arkansas Cinderella run. Slight Cinderella run will end in the Final Four here in the national semifinal. So Kansas will advance to the national championship. Even without Johnny Uzang, as I mentioned earlier in the video, they will definitely have enough to make the Final Four. Again, repeat their trip there. And they're going to have enough to beat Villanova. So they will legitimately, after losing a classic to Gonzaga in double overtime last year, UCLA will make the national championship game against Kansas. This matchup wouldn't necessarily go into overtime. My prediction is UCLA would win by 15, and they would also cover the spread if the spread was about 10 or 12.5. So I'd take UCLA by 15, and they will win the tournament. They will win the 2022 tournament. So that's my second projection, is UCLA for this tournament. Hope everyone has a wonderful weekend and enjoying the holiday season so far. And we'll see you guys soon for Bowl Mania picks, as I'm doing a confidence pool soon. Bye.